Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Real Talks with MK. Real Talks with MK. We started off the show with the purpose of serving good insights, good tips and tricks on various work which we specialize in, right? So we have contact center management experts, we have e-commerce experts, we have various experts lined up for the show. So this is our fourth episode. We already covered contact center management last week. We had e-commerce outsourcing trends for COVID-19 in the second episode. So today I have a guest coming back again. So today I have Vivek Anand, Senior Vice President Enterprise at MattsenKumar, and we are going to tackle a topic which is very, very critical for every e-commerce organization today, right? So the critical topic we are going to cover today is catalog management, right? Like we all know, catalog is the most important aspect or the most important ingredient towards any e-commerce player's success. So we are going to throw some questions at Vivek about how an e-commerce organization can run a streamlined catalog operations. So Vivek, as I've introduced him last week, he is an expert. Excuse me. He's an expert from quality background. He has done a lot of work in program management, Lean Six Sigma methodologies. He brings around 20 years of experience in managing operations and things like that. He has worked from across industries like telecom, manufacturing, e-commerce, and across geographies like India, US, etc. So currently, his team and manages a lot of global e-commerce organizations, and they help them manage a lot of aspects of their business. So catalog is one among them. So without further ado, I want to bring Vivek on. Hey Vivek.
Hi Vivek. Hey Vivek,
Can
good
you hear?
evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yes,
Thank you for joining. All right. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Thank you for taking time out. As I mentioned, I might bother you again and again for as the topics keep evolving on the show. So you might be a regular guest on my show. All right. So I'm asking you advance apologies for that. So today's topic, we want to discuss catalog management, right? We have seen that the kind of impact during our research, we have found the catalog has a major impact on e-commerce players, e-commerce organizations, success and their growth, right? So a lot of it depends on customer experience, a lot of it depends on product returns, a lot of things, because if a customer comes to your website and they search for a product, if they don't find it because you have it but still you can't find it, all that impacts has a direct correlation with the quality of the catalog. So I have curated again another barrage of questions for you. So I'll shoot them at you one by one. So shall we start?
sure. I am ready.
Oh, all right, fantastic, fantastic. So I want to start with a very basic question. I know it may not be a super interesting question for you or the viewers, but I want to start with that, right? Because I want to cover the basics first. How important do you think catalog is for an e-commerce organization, or maybe its success?
Sure, Vivek. And thank you for having me back. It's always an interesting session with you. I hope the listeners will again take back something from here. And
Sure.
so yeah, coming to your first question on the importance of catalog for an e-commerce organization. See, it's an era of digital transactions, right? We are not slowly, in fact, very rapidly moving all our transactions to digital, right? And it's not just because of this pandemic. Even before pandemic, if I talk about 2019 or even before that, a lot of transactions were happening online, right? If we want to buy a product, or if we want to maybe book a flight, order grocery, order food, everything was happening online. Payments and all money transactions was also happening digitally, right? So it's an era where everybody is moving into digital transactions, and with pandemic, this has significantly increased. So for any e-commerce organization, any retailer who is selling online, the catalog is the product catalog, online product catalog is an important cornerstone for them, right?
Right.
The way you display your information, the richness of the content, the accuracy of the content plays a very important role, because for a customer who has come online to your platform to purchase any product or to do any transaction, uh, the clarity, accuracy, richness of the information that you provide regarding the product or the service that you are selling is very critical, and that is where the buying decisions happen. If your product catalog, and we are specifically focusing on online retailers, so I'll talk about product catalog. If your product catalog does not have the rich content, does not have the clear information about the product, you will most likely lose the buyer, lose the customer, right?
Right.
So
Right.
there's a potential to convert an online visitor to a customer, but because of your low quality catalog, you may lose the customer. See, at the same time, though we know that everybody is moving to online, but at the same time, we also know that there's an inherent disadvantage of buying a product online. As a buyer, you don't really get to feel the product,
Right.
right? There are a lot of buyers, there are a lot of customers who would still want to, I think, feel the product and then buy. And I'm specifically talking about maybe apparels, footwear, right? And maybe even a lot of people buy grocery through offline retail because they want to, as in, go through the product details, as in the manufacturing date, or other information regarding the product, specifically in the grocery section, right? So this is an inherent disadvantage of online selling, right? How you can overcome this is through ensuring that all the information that a buyer is looking for is available on your catalog.
Right.
So and it sounds simple. It's not simple. It's a very difficult exercise to ensure that your product catalog meets customer requirement.
Right.
It includes having all the information available which a buyer may be looking at. It includes having the visual content, which includes images, videos regarding the product, right? It also includes um, uh, the online reviews, right? The buyer feedback, people who have bought it earlier, what kind of reviews are they giving? It also includes the FAQs. So in nutshell, as in, if you are not able to create a very rich content as in catalog, you may lose your customers. So that ways a product catalog is very important. A good product catalog is very important for any e-commerce organization success.
Right, right. Because I've never heard the term catalog accuracy, to be honest with you. Because as a consumer, when I go to whether it is a e-commerce platform for apparels or anything for that matter, if the description is not good enough, I myself will not be convinced to go ahead with that purchase. Right. So that
Yeah.
also I've read it somewhere that almost a major percentage of consumers who have a bad experience on the catalog section of an e-commerce platform may not return again to that platform. So that's a very valid point over there, right? So my next question, I'm going to tie catalog quality to the experience, which I was talking about, right? So catalog quality and customer experience, how strong is the connection?
There's a very strong relationship, as I tried to explain in the previous question. Uh, See, it impacts the quality of your catalog, impacts the overall customer journey from the point the customer, as in, lands to your platform till the point there's a final checkout which happens, right? The entire journey of the customer on your platform is largely influenced by the quality of your catalog, right? So which means at no stage through the entire journey you can provide incorrect information, you can provide incomplete information. You at any stage, if you are not providing the information that a buyer is looking at, there is a high chance of losing that buyer, right? So entire customer journey on your platform is driven by the catalog. Uh, uh, also, I want to add, as in, I'm sure everybody would have heard this term omni-channel, right? So omni-channel experience is also driven by our catalog. So see, as a seller, you may be selling on your own platform. You may have your own mobile app. You may have your own desktop website, mobile website. You may also be selling the same products on online marketplaces, right? So
Right.
So as a seller, you would want to sell your products at as many places as you can, right? Because it gives you that amount of reach. But ensuring that at any platform, irrespective of the platform that the customer goes to, customer gets the right amount of information about your product, right? And
Right.
you know the best about your product, right? The product that you're selling. As a seller, I expect that you know the best about your product. So you need to ensure that irrespective of the platform, you are providing detailed information about your product, detailed images about your product. If you have videos, also provide videos about the product on all the platforms. And there should not be any mismatch between the information that you provide on these different platforms, because it creates a big negative impact on your buyers, right? Today, I am maybe searching for a product on Amazon, and I get that product for a certain amount. If I get the same product at Flipkart at a lower amount, I may go ahead and buy that, because I would want better as an ROI for my investment. But at the same time, it may create a doubt in my mind, right? Whether the seller is really a genuine seller or not, whether the product is really the right product or not. So
Right.
so this kind of information mismatch also should never happen. So you as a seller, you need to ensure that you give the same kind of omni-channel experience to your buyers. So yeah, I hope I was able to answer the question.
Yes, absolutely. Because other point which I got from that answer of yours is the difference between a own e-commerce store, or maybe a single brand e-commerce store, and a marketplace. Totally different scenarios. We'll discuss about that. I have a question for you on that also. Right. So moving on. So what are the typical benefits? I know these are a little bit overlapping answers and things like that, but I really want to drive this point across so that any e-commerce leader who's watching the show, I want them to take care of certain points, certain aspects from this interaction, and they can implement it from tomorrow, maybe. Right. So my question is, what are the typical benefits an efficient catalog management can bring for an e-commerce player?
Yeah, see, I've already spoken about the first one,
Right.
the most important one, which is the customer. It helps you drive the overall customer experience.
Right.
Uh, uh, yeah, the other benefits of a great catalog would be it it helps you improve your overall business, drive your overall business growth. And how it does that is, again, if you are able to, let's say, if you are able to gain that trust and loyalty from your buyers, right? And catalog quality has a big role to play in that. So if you are
Right.
able to gain that trust, you will ensure that you are getting uh, uh, recurring orders. You are getting the customer again and again back to your platform. And we all know that, as in, getting a new customer, acquiring a new customer is always more costlier than as in retaining your customer, right? And getting the business
Absolutely.
from your existing customer. So yeah, so this overall great customer experience that you are able to give through your great catalog drives your business growth.
Right.
The other thing is, the other thing is, the catalog of today is very different from catalog which was being product catalogs which were being created many years back, right? And I remember I as in during my childhood we used to look at those big product catalogs, the hard copies, right,
Right,
of
right, right,
large retail stores, when they try to capture all the information. Now everything is digital. Now
right,
everything is come online, right? So how it has evolved is now within a catalog you are capturing a lot of information, right? And let's say just to give you an example, uh, uh, let's say you are selling food products on your platform, right? Earlier you would classify, as in categorize the products as vegetarian, non-vegetarian. uh, uh, Now there are so many things, and I'm not a foodie, and I still know that there's vegan, there's gluten free, there's
right, right,
so many other things, right? So and if you are not providing this information on your catalog, uh, you are losing your customers, right? Because if a customer, if a buyer is a foodie and knows what they want to buy, they would want to look at this information. If you're not able to provide this information on your catalog, you will lose.
right, right,
Another example that comes to my mind is in terms of shoes, formal shoes, casual shoes, sports shoes. Now you talk about sports shoes, there's so many different categorization within the sports shoes itself. I was looking at
right.
that day, looking at running shoes, and I thought running shoes are like running shoes, right? But now
Right.
running shoes are, if you run on treadmill, you'll get different shoes. If you run on road, if you run on uphill, downhill, there are
Right,
different kinds of
right,
shoes, right? So
right, right,
if you don't provide this information and you have created a very basic catalog, how will you drive your business growth? So
right,
so great catalog drives your business growth, right?
right,
The other thing that comes to my mind is it also helps you manage your business operations better,
right,
right? Because you have now created a structure to your catalog, right? Uh, if your catalog is messy and you you don't really know which information goes where, getting a new product online becomes challenging. Making changes to your existing products become challenging. So defining a structure to your catalog also helps you drive your internal processes,
got it, got it. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Right. So
right,
yeah, if you are wanting to sell online, focus on your catalog. Otherwise,
right.
it's gonna be difficult.
Yeah, because that drives a very, very, very good point, because customer preferences are changing, right? Because as you
Yeah,
mentioned about the food example and the running shoes example, customer preferences keep getting diversified. Your catalog needs to match up to that. Otherwise,
yeah,
I think it's very difficult to keep up with the other players who are doing it already, right? So catalog
right,
plays,
right, right.
that's a very, very, very good, important piece of your entire growth game. All right. So, other important point which I want to bring is, if when I check for the stats, stats say that at least 30%, that is 30% of products which are bought online are returned, and that is a hidden cost for most of the e-commerce players, right? They may not realize it, but they may realize it, but it's a huge cost center factor for e-commerce players. So do you think catalog quality has a role to play here to minimizing these product returns, or maybe bringing it under control?
Uh, yes, definitely to some extent.
Right,
Uh, why? Because see, if you look at the top 5 or top 10 reasons of product returns, you will find, as in 2 to 3 examples which directly relate to the quality of your catalog.
right,
Uh, uh, Let me think about a couple of them. Yeah, so see, the product returns, one of the important reasons which come out for product returns is incorrect product or size ordered,
right, right,
right? And people return with this reason, right? And this may see, when we listen to this as a reason, this may seem to be an something which is not controllable, because buyer is ordering the product, and then as in it's their responsibility to identify the right product or the right size on the platform. But it has a very it has a great relationship with the product catalog that you create. See,
right,
if you'll not provide and as an online retailer, you want to minimize these kind of returns, right? And how you can do that is you provide the maximum amount of information to the buyer and uh, help them make an informed decision, right? So
Right.
which includes having the right kind of product attributes, right kind of product attribute values in your product. And when I say attributes, it means the kind of information that a customer may be looking at, right? So like I was giving an example of food item. So if you know that customers are looking for the information, whether it's vegan, whether it's gluten free, so you know to have these kind of attributes in your catalog which provide this kind of an information, right? Similarly, the kind of attribute values, an example that comes to my mind is I can talk about the apparels, and specifically in women apparel. See the kind of again, if you go a few years back, the kind of sleeves in the dresses that we used to categorize the sleeves as full, half, no sleeves, quarter sleeves, right? And now there are like 30 different kinds of sleeves, right? And so I'm not an expert, so I can't really name all those kinds of sleeves. But there are 20 to 30 different kinds of sleeves, and you need to ensure that if you want to help your buyer make an informed decision, you provide this kind of information, right? Uh, you also ensure that you provide a lot of images for a buyer to really understand the product, right? It should not be limited to 2 or 3 images. Provide as many images as possible. Provide good quality images so that buyer can understand the product. Write very clear and information rich highlights about your product, so that see we don't even want to as in write text heavy descriptions, product descriptions, because the buyer would not have that much of uh, 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 the attention span to really go through all these details. So writing information rich product highlights in short sentences, which gives feature benefit details to the buyers, or also help them understand the product, right? And specifically when I talk about the return reason as incorrect size ordered, so you need to ensure that you provide the detailed size charts, and also help buyers relate those size charts to the real world dimensions, right? So now you would see that in a lot of products, you in apparels, footwear, or even in furniture, you see those size charts which give you the product dimensions, right? So that's very critical here. Also in order to reduce the this reason of return, also ensure that you have a lot of online product reviews about your product, which again will help buyer make an informed decision. Also there are a lot of e-commerce companies which also let you ask those questions from the buyers who have already bought those products, right? So there's Q&A section, this Q&A section, the buyer can raise a question there, and the people who have already bought can respond to those, right? So these are the efforts that you can make from your side to help the buyer and in a way return ensure that these kind of returns don't happen.
Right. Because please go ahead.
Yeah, see, just one more thing, maybe the other reason which people return the products with is that the product did not match the description or the information provided on the website.
Right.
This is actually should be a no, complete no, right? Because you need to ensure that you are providing the correct information about your product. There can be no way that you provide incorrect information which leads to these kind of returns, right? And it's a bad management practice that if that happens, that this reason is not acceptable. Yeah.
Right. So I was about to say that point. So anyway, you covered it, right? For example, the majority of reason why people return products is because what they ordered and what they received are totally two different things. So that's one of the primary reasons I have got from my research that why people return products. That's a very elaborate. It looks like the kind of insights you're sharing. I think I should organize an episode only on how to make a catalog, and we should cover it point by point. So fantastic. So I'm loving this. So going ahead, I want to talk about product discovery. Right? Everybody is in a hurry these days. Everybody, whenever I go to Flipkart or I go to Amazon or I go to any other shop, I want to find the product as soon as possible. Right? I don't want to spend too much time on the platform looking through millions of products and finding my product. I want to find faster. So does catalog quality has an impact on product discovery time? Can you product discovery? Sorry. So can you throw some light on that?
Sure, and I think I have covered this to some extent, but yeah, I'll try and elaborate this more. Product discovery. What this term means is if a customer has come to your platform to buy a product, your platform should be able to show that product to the buyer, right? Exactly. And the intent should be to minimize this product discovery time. The amount of time that a buyer has to spend, the effort that a buyer has to make to reach to the right product should be minimum, right? And this is what a lot of e-commerce organizations keep driving, and this actually helps in increasing your business growth as well. How catalog plays a role here is, again, see, there are different ways with which a buyer would come in and search for a product on the platform. Right? One of the simple ways can be you write the search query in the search bar, right? And you try to search for the product. Now you can't really you can influence that also to some extent, because by providing autocomplete options to the buyers, when they start typing, you provide autocomplete options. But there are buyers who would want to describe their own thing and not select the autocomplete option, and then they write their own query, right? So and that query may include the name of the product, the price range that they are looking at, maybe the color, different facets that they are looking at. They would put in everything there, right? Now, one is your system should be able to understand that query and give the result. In order for your system also to understand that query, your catalog should have that information in the first place. Right. If your catalog does not have information, like, and I'm talking about very basic attributes here. Color of the product. If your catalog does not have that as an attribute and customer searches with the color, you will not be able to show those results, right? The customer searches for the red t-shirt, your system will only be able to show the t-shirts, not the red t-shirt, because your system does not, your catalog does not have. But this is a very basic attribute that I'm talking about. But as I mentioned initially, now customer, the way they search, the kind of information that they already have, and they come with their specific requirements. So you need to ensure that your catalog also has that kind of an information, right? So let's say, just give you an example. A customer comes in and searches for party dresses, right? Now you have in your database the information about all the dresses that you have, right? Color, size, sleeve types, and length, and a lot of other things. But you have not categorized or enriched your catalog to categorize few products as party dresses, few products as formal, few products as casual. So you will not be able to again show this, right? So customer may search this for this product either through the search query, or may even want to use the filters available on your platform, right? Now, and these filters also come. Where do you get this information for these filters? You get this information as an online retailer from the catalog information that you capture about the product, right? So the metadata that you captured, which stays in the backend, which helps these filters run, right? There are normal filters, there are conversational filters, right? Everything picks up the information from the catalog. So product discovery depends to a great extent on the catalog as well. Yes, apart from catalog, it also depends on how your algorithm in the backend is running. But
Right.
algorithm needs some data to run on,
Right.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually a solid answer there. I
Mhm.
hope the listeners are, or maybe viewers are, getting enough value from that. So my next question is about from a process standpoint, right? For example, from a process standpoint, how can e-commerce organizations ensure a high performing catalog for their visitors? What kind of processes they should at least pay attention to build it? Maybe it takes time, but they should focus their
Mhm.
effort.
Yeah, it's not a very easy exercise to really build a great catalog. It takes time, it takes a lot of effort, and there are a few very basic things that you need to ensure while you are building the catalog, right? You need to ensure that you capture a comprehensive information about your product. You should have information about the kind of attributes that customer is looking at. Your information should be up to date, your information should be accurate. You should regularly take up an exercise of enriching your catalog, right?
Right.
If you have created a catalog today that may lack some information few days later, right? So you need to keep taking an exercise of enriching your catalog depending upon the changes in customers behaviors, right? And
Right.
as I mentioned, that it has to be an outside in approach, it can't be an inside out approach, right? you
Okay.
have to
Okay.
you have to listen, keep listening to your customers, understand their behavior, and then modify your catalog according to that, right? You cannot decide that I will provide ABC information about the product on the catalog. If you have to ensure that you are also able to sell through the online platform, it has to be an outside in approach.
Right.
Very basic things like as I mentioned, when you are categorizing your product, look at the way customer is looking at the categorization. When you are defining certain attributes, ensure that you are very consistent in that. Maybe
Right.
to give you an example, let's say if you are defining a size of a t-shirt, and you have small, medium, large, XL, double XL, right? And you can't really use letters for one product as SML, or for other product use the complete word as small, medium, large, right?
Right.
These are very small things, but they create a different kind of an impact for the buyer, right? they they
Right.
they let the buyer understand how much of an effort has gone into creating a catalog. Similarly, maybe an example of uh, uh, having measurement units as consistent, right? If you define something as, if you write centimeters as cm, write it as cm, don't write it as centimeters always. Vivek, did
Uh, sorry. There's connection problem. Yeah. Please go ahead. Sorry.
I know these. I think these sessions, this commercial break is important in our sessions. It happened last time as well.
Yeah. This time it was from StreamYard side. That's fine. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
the
So the process perspective, right? The other thing that comes to my mind is uh, talk about uh, the related or alternative products, right? If you
right.
let's say within your catalog, if a buyer is searching for a product, and if you don't have that product, right, recommend alternate options. Don't
Right.
let the buyer go away from your platform. If the buyer has come to your platform, you want to convert that into a sale. So provide alternate options, or maybe provide recommendations related to related products, right? if,
Right.
if you buy if you buy a mobile phone, immediately recommend a mobile phone case cover or other accessories, right? Like
Right.
earphones,
Right.
like
Right.
headphones. So maximize the value of that interaction with the buyer, right? And it all happens through these simple basic things that you do on your catalog.
Right, right. So the first time I'm hearing this outside in approach. That's a
Mhm.
very valid point on. It's a long process, but the
Yeah.
way you take it, the way you start off, or way you keep proceeding with these kind of insights, I think it will be a fruitful effort at the end of it. Anyways, so my next question will be again, I'm gonna ask you, bother you with some questions on catalog elements, right? So, what do you think are the key factors or elements? I know there are a lot of them, but I want to cover
Yeah.
as much as possible. What are the key factors or elements that impact the quality of our e-commerce catalog?
Okay. Okay. It's a huge catalog thing. It's a huge thing, right? And
Yep, yep.
it covers a lot of things. See, the first thing I would want to talk about is the uh, product categorization. Even before I get into the product information, I would want to categorize the product, and it also plays a, a key role in driving customer experience on your platform, right? And
Yep.
there are different ways to do it. Different organizations follow different methodologies, uh, 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 but you need to ensure a consistent methodology of categorizing your products on the platform. One, it should be consistent. Second, it should be very user friendly, right? So let's say maybe if you are talking about uh, footwear, so you want to categorize them as maybe to begin with, start with categorizing as men separate and women separate, and then within men there's footwear, or you want to start as footwear and then categorize as men's footwear and women's footwear, right?
Right,
So
right,
similarly for a lot of other things, right? You want to uh, put televisions in under electronics, or you want to put televisions under some other category,
right,
and there are many best practices here, right? Because there have been organizations which have been doing this for a pretty long period of time, and they have developed certain ways which are also user friendly, and they have followed the outside in approach all this time to develop these kind of this way of categorization. So these best practices are available outside.
right,
After you categorize the product, then you get into the product information, which includes uh, ensure that you have a lot of product related attributes, which covers different facets of the product which a buyer may be looking at. So
right,
cover everything, provide information about everything. uh, uh, and when you are providing this information, ensure that again there's this consistent information, right? So
right,
what happens is that you are giving some product information as a product attribute, and you're talking about the same information in the product description. So ensure that
right,
the information is consistent,
right,
and there's no difference in that information, right?
right,
So uh, define the product attributes, define the product attribute values, provide the maximum information. Write, as I mentioned initially, write uh, uh, very detailed product highlights, which uh, uh, give the instant information about the product to the buyer, right?
right,
And it has to have ensure that feature and benefit both are explained in the product highlights. You while you are writing product highlights, ensure that it has a human touch in that, right? So that the buyer should feel that you are there's some conversation happening with the buyer, right? uh,
right,
right. Then apart from product information, then you get into the things like FAQs. So provide gather different kind of questions that customers may come up with, provide that information on your catalog, provide real-time support options also on your catalog to the buyers.
right,
There are a lot of organizations that provide chat support to the buyers, right? If a buyer needs certain information about, let's say camera that I'm looking at, and because I am not in an offline store, I can't really get that information from the from the seller in an offline store. This chat option enables me to gather that information quickly. Otherwise, what I would do is I would go to some other platform and try and see if that information is available there, or I may defer my decision and try and search for that information somewhere else, right? So
Got it.
a lot of organizations provide this chat enabled support, which gives instant information. Work on online reviews so that customer gets to hear from the people who have really bought and used your products, and ensure that you have get as many product reviews on your platform, which helps the buyer. So this all is part of catalog. And these are the I would say key
Right,
elements.
right.
Of the
I know.
Yeah.
It's been a question which is very open-ended. You might need an hour to talk about it. Right. So there's one question from Gaurav Gupta here. He asked, the suggestions we see at the bottom of a page or product page when we purchase anything online, is it also due to an effective catalog creation? Is it a part of that?
Yes, it is. So a lot of organizations have algorithms running in the backend to identify these products, but so big e-commerce organizations have algorithms running in the backend. Smaller organizations who sell very few products online can even do this activity manually. But yeah, if you want to scale this, yes, you have to have algorithms running in the backend, but then these algorithms also pick up the product related information that is available in your catalog. And when I say catalog, it's not just the information that is visible on the platform, but it's also a lot of metadata that goes into the catalog. And
Right.
these recommendations pick up that metadata and suggest those alternate products or similar products or maybe accessories. Right?
Got it.
So
Got it.
it's something that metadata.
All right. So that, I hope that answered his question. So my next question will be a little bit about standalone e-commerce platform and a marketplace, right? So how different is catalog management for the marketplaces, and are there any best practices to ensure high quality there?
Okay. So if I understand your question correctly, you are asking from the perspective of how a marketplace manages its catalog versus a standalone,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Why I ask this question is because on a marketplace, the sellers are huge, and most of the information will be provided by them. It has to be fit into your framework and then displayed to the customer. So that's why my question is.
Yeah, I think you have already answered the question, but yeah, that's a huge difference between a standalone D2C site versus a D2C platform versus an online marketplace, right?
Right.
Online marketplace is kind of an open market where though it's governed by certain policies and procedures, but yeah, there are lot of independent sellers who are selling on these platforms, right?
Right.
So on your platform, if you have to give consistent catalog experience to your buyer, you as it becomes even more challenging for you, because you need to ensure that you define the policies and procedures to list products on your platform as per the customer's requirement, right? And you need to also ensure that all these sellers who are selling on your platform, these can be sellers across different regions. These can be international sellers, right? So you need to ensure that the processes and the policies and procedures that you have defined for these sellers are consistent across sellers, right? You can't really have different guidelines for seller A versus different guidelines for seller B. You can't really you can have difference in guidelines for different categories of the products, but then still there has to be a lot of consistency across categories as well. Like you have to ensure that the image quality is same across different categories of the products, right? you need to ensure that there are no blur images, there are no digitally modified images that the sellers upload on your platform. You need to ensure that the product information that the seller is providing is consistent across different attributes that you have defined for a product. Let's say if you're just if on your marketplace you're selling multiple products, but let's say I am a seller who has come to sell shoes on your platform, right? Now for me as a seller, you have defined certain attributes that I have to provide the information on. You have also given me the guidelines on those attributes. But then I as a seller would still provide inaccurate information, inconsistent information, right? So as a marketplace, you need to ensure that before or after this product goes live, there has to be a quality check to ensure that the information is consistent. Because at the end of the day, buyer will come to your platform and will create a perception about your platform before creating a perception about the seller on your platform,
Absolutely.
right? So it's all the more challenging for online marketplaces to manage catalog.
Right. I can imagine, like, now next time whenever I go to a marketplace and I go to a product page, I will have immense respect for the person who is managing the entire process. It's really challenging. It's really challenging. Right. So another important point which I want to, because you are managing a big team which does this work. So a lot of my connections or a lot of my friends and ex colleagues, etc., who work in e-commerce space, they say that a lot of their catalog management work has been outsourced, right? So how do you think outsourcing can help e-commerce players build an effective catalog management process?
Sure. See, there have been online retailers have been selling products online for longest period of time, right? There have been catalogs which have been in place for very long period of time. These catalogs have evolved, and there have been organizations who have been in online selling in online space for a much longer period than than the new sellers who are now trying to come online. And over a period of these many years, they have developed a lot of best practices, right? There are organizations who have been helping these online marketplaces or online B2C retailers for a very long period of time, and they have developed these best practices across the different components of the complete catalog management, right? So these organizations already have these best practices available. Now if you're trying to get online for the first time, or if you have recently gone online, why do you want to reinvent the wheel, right? There are organizations who know these processes, policies, who have been doing this for a very long period of time and have developed their own processes, have gained their own process efficiencies, have done their own process automations, right? Mistake proofings, all has been done. And what, as we mentioned as we discussed in our previous conversation, that why do you want to reinvent the wheel and focus on areas which may be non-core to your business, but outsource these things to the organizations who have been doing this for a very long period of time, and you focus on your own core, which is your platform, your product, and let these organizations manage the process, backend processes for you.
Right. So that makes business sense also to e-commerce organizations, because as you rightly mentioned, it's better to give it to experts and then focus on your stuff. Right. So let me throw some light into the kind of work you guys do, right, at MattsenKumar. So what kind of support does your team provide to e-commerce organizations in terms of catalog management?
See, we touch almost everything within the catalog management space. And as I mentioned that, when I was talking about how you should work on your catalog, we start from the very scratch with the e-commerce organizations. We help the organizations also define the overall product categorization for you. We also help you define the various verticals which you want to create and sell your products in. We help you define the attributes. We help you define the attribute values. We then also help you create rich content, which includes product descriptions, product highlights, specifications for your products. We help you in enriching your catalog over a period of time with the new
Right.
information that is available. So we keep an outside-in approach and help the e-commerce players in enriching their catalog. We also we also do a lot of work on the catalog quality check, right? When we were talking about online marketplaces, and I mentioned that the quality check of the kind of information that is coming through various sellers on your platform is very important to
Right.
ensure a consistent experience for the buyer. So we do a lot of work in that space. Also, we have developed a lot of automations which help us with quick turnaround time. We have the capabilities of text analytics, image analytics that we have developed over a period of so many years to do catalog quality check. Going back to the thing about product attributes, we also help you improve your product discovery by one, ensuring that you have the right kind of information captured as a product catalog, and we also work with you to understand what kind of queries is the system able to understand, what kind of queries is the system is not able to understand. We provide L2, L3 level analytics to make changes in your system, which helps improve the overall catalog experience. So I think we touch almost everything within the catalog space, and we also work very closely with our partners in terms of customizing our services to their needs. So which means that we understand their problem, we come up with a solution, we brainstorm on the solution, and then we work on the solution with them. So there are new problems which we keep solving with them every day, and in the process we learn a lot, right? We have learned about e-commerce while working with these organizations for so many years, right?
Right.
And it has been because of this kind of collaboration that we have had with our partners.
Right. I think customization is the key word here, because I don't think any two e-commerce organizations will function the same. The products will be different, the geographies will be different, the customer preferences will be different, and the platform itself will be different. So obviously, it's good to know that you cover the entire gamut of catalog management. Right. So my final question before I leave you for the night is related to this pandemic. Okay. So I wanted to know how any special kind of, if you can quote some examples, that would be fantastic. If not, no worries, I'll catch you next time. But what kind of any special requests you have witnessed, because e-commerce companies across the globe, you work with companies across the globe, they have been witnessing an up and down kind of graph during this entire lockdown, unlock phase, etc. So any kind of special request you are witnessing from your clients during this period?
See, we have got a couple of requests specifically related to benchmarking. And when I say benchmarking, during these times, a lot of organizations have really understood the importance of catalog, and they really now want to benchmark their catalog versus the other organizations, the best in class within their category, or the other huge organizations. So we have got a couple of requests for benchmarking, and we have through our experience, we have actually created a benchmarking framework specifically for catalog, and we use this, and we call it MK body of knowledge. So we have created this benchmarking framework, and we use this to provide a rating to you versus the other organizations. It can be within
Wow.
your space, it can be outside of your space. So this is one, as in couple of requests that we have got. Then we have seen increased requirement in the regular BA work, specifically focused on the quality check and enrichment of the catalog. There are a lot of organizations which are also currently focusing on enriching their catalog to make it more relevant to the changing buyers' needs. So we are working with organizations on enriching their catalog. We are also working with them on doing a quality check on their catalog through the various tools that we have developed. So these are the few things that come to my mind about the recent requests that have come up. Yeah.
Nice. I like the concept of benchmarking your catalog with your competition. That itself will throw a lot of insights which will keep you occupied for next a year or so.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're comparing it with a big player in the market, I'm pretty sure the learning will be pretty huge. That's fantastic. Vivek, so we have come to the end of the show. If you want anything, if you don't have anything else to share with the audience, we can call it a show, and I'll see you soon on the next show.
I think I'm good. Thank you so much, Vivek, for your time,
Hey,
and
thank you so much for
thank
having.
you to the listeners for spending this 1 hour with us. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Vivek. All right. So that was Vivek Anand, Senior VP, Enterprise, MattsenKumar. So he shared, I don't know, I lost track of the insights he shared. It was fantastic, fantastic learning for me. I myself, as a host, is enjoying this because I'm getting to hear from these guys firsthand and I am making a lot of notes. Right. So what I'm saying is, keep coming back to the show Real Time with MK, because we will be bringing more insights. Maybe the guest will repeat. By every episode, we'll throw a lot of insights at you at various topics like contact center management, business process outsourcing, e-commerce outsourcing, etc., etc. So I'll see you all next Wednesday with a guest on a different topic. So stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much.